Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to Movie Mondays. So in the previous episode I did an MCU Tiermaker, so I thought, you know what, did an MCU Tiermaker episode, let's do a DCEU Tiermaker episode. I tried to get one with like all the DC movies, it wasn't there though, it wasn't available, so someone's gonna make that one. But as for the DCEU, I do not dislike it. I actually like the DCEU, to be honest. I like most of their movies, to be fair. Like, I had at least like the ones that are not that good, I still have a fun time with them. But there are some bad ones. There are some that I don't like, definitely, for sure. But having said that, I think it's underrated. Like, there's some movies that are underrated, in my opinion, and there's some good movies in there. So it's not as bad as people make it out, in my opinion. I just don't think it's as bad as people say it is. But it is a bit all over the place and a bit disconnected and a bit weird. But they've got some good movies. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So here we go. Alright, starting with Man of Steel, let's go in order of chronological. This for me is underrated. When I first watched it, I didn't like it, honestly. I watched it when I was a kid. I didn't like it that much, mainly because it wasn't like the Superman that I knew, that I liked. It was different. But when I went back and watched it for what it was, for like the movie it actually was, for what they were giving me, I really loved it. Like, when you actually appreciate it for what it is, it's a very good movie. It's solid. It's really good. Henry Cavill is a great Superman, and I think this movie shows how good he is. And I didn't like it at first, mainly because of the version that he plays, the version that he portrays of Superman, and that's why a lot of people don't like it either. But I actually like when I went back and watched it years later, when I actually like properly appreciated it for what it was, I thought, wow, this is a good, solid movie, and it's fantastic. So, underrated. Although I would put it in like good or great, or like a B. I'd put it as a B if it was a grade thing. But underrated, I feel. It gets a lot of hate. For me, it doesn't deserve it, and for me, it is a good movie. BVS. Alright, so the theatrical cut was a bit all over the place. Like, there were too many little, like, the first up until the moment where Lex and Superman meet, where he kidnaps his mum. Up until that point, the movie's like really clunky, all over the place. There's a lot of issues with it. After that, the last hour of the movie is actually pretty good. There's some good fight scenes there. The Batman-Superman fight scene is really good. It's too short, but still, it is a good fight scene. I liked it. I think it was pretty cool. And it was cool to see Batman win as well, spoiler alert. But he won the fight technically, even though the Martha thing had a deeper meaning. It wasn't just because the most are the same name. It was more about Batman realizing what he turned into. But still, the way they did that scene, like, they could have done it with better dialogue. I think they could have pulled that scene off a lot better if they just used better words. If that makes sense. Like, just the way he said Martha and why'd you say that name, it made it look stupid. Like, it was a scene with a deep meaning, a deep emotional meaning, and it made it look stupid because of the dialogue, in my opinion. So like, that kind of ruined that part. And then the final battle, the Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman team up against Doomsday, I think that was a good final battle. I did actually really enjoy that. So that part was pretty cool as well. So there were some good scenes in there. I like Superman in that as well, when he stopped Batman's rampage. He did go around killing people though, that's the thing. Like, if they want to introduce a killer Batman, they got to have more of a story behind it. Like, there's got to be more of a reason why he's doing it. The reasons were there. Like, he's a broken man who's lost his way. But I think they should have done a better job explaining that. But I don't mind a killer Batman if you do it right. Like, it's not the Batman I'm used to. I'm more used to the Batman who doesn't kill no matter what. But if you want to introduce a killer Batman, I'm open to actually experiencing that. But it's got to be better done. Having said that, Ben Affleck is an amazing Batman. Alright, so there are many good things about this movie. Wonder Woman's entrance, that was amazing. So there's a lot of great things, but a theatrical cut, it doesn't quite cut it. However, I'm gonna judge it based on the Snyder Cut. No, Snyder Cut? Sorry. Yes, the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut, the extended edition, the 3-hour version, the Ultimate Edition, sorry, that's what it's called, the Ultimate Edition, the 3-hour long version. Now, I mentioned how there are a lot of issues leading up to the moment where Superman and Lex meet on that rooftop, right? This 3-hour version fixes most of those problems. This 3-hour version, it puts in a lot more detail, it explains a lot more, it adds in more detailed scenes of Superman, more deeper scenes, more emotional scenes, and it makes the movie a lot better. It explains so much more. There's a lot of plot holes that are just fixed with that 3-hour version, and I think the first 2 hours are just fixed based on what they added in. Like they added the perfect things, they added what they needed to add in to make it much better, and they improved on it massively. Now there's still the Martha moment. Aside from that Martha moment, this movie I think was actually pretty good. I think it was a good movie. The 3-hour version of it was good. The cinema version, not so much. The 3-hour version I think was good. So sorry, if I was grading it, I put it as a B. I'd probably put it as good if it was like different, but underrated for me as well. For me, this was an underrated movie that deserved more praise. It did not deserve the hate. It wasn't as bad as people thought it was, and it certainly wasn't too dark. I think those people thought the problem was, but like dark is good for a movie like this. I like the dark tone. I think the tone was one of the best things about it. Like the fact that it was so dark and serious and gruesome. I liked that part of it, and I think that elevated the movie itself as well. And Ben Affleck really elevated it. For me, he was the best part of this movie. He was fantastic. So there we go. Let me stop talking so much. Justice League, abomination. I'm sorry, but this movie was so bad. I even liked it at first because it was quite fun to watch, but when I looked back on it, I was just like, what was that? What on earth did you just make? And Joss Whedon ruined it, DC ruined it, Warner Brothers, it's Warner Brothers, they ruined it. Like, they should not have just sacked Snyder like that. They said it was because of, you know, personal reasons, but, you know, he was sacked. Come on, he was sacked. So, like, it's really frustrating that we couldn't see the Snyder Cut, because as you know, the Snyder Cut is the greatest movie of all time. Like, it's not been released, no one's seen it, but I gotta tell you, it is the greatest movie of all time. There is no film better. You know, it's gonna win all the Oscars. Just watch. The Snyder Cut is amazing, mates, and it would be here if it was if it was here, I'd put it there. The Snyder Cut is the GOAT. I've never seen it, but it's the GOAT. I'm telling you, it is the GOAT movie. It is great. It is the greatest. The greatest movie of all time, and I cannot wait to see it. But that's if we even get it. But you never know. One day in future. But they should hire back Snyder, and what they should do is not release the Snyder Cut. All right, get him, pay him whatever you want to pay him. Tell him to continue from BVS. Tell him to just continue. Make the same. Continue from there. Make his 5-movie arc. Okay, let him do that. Let him make three more movies. Let's see what he can do. Like, he can't do worse than this. He can't do worse than this. Alright, he's gonna do better. Alright, let him make Justice League Part 1 and 2 as he wanted to make it. Okay, and let's see what he can do with these characters, because I want to see it. Plus, he did introduce Wonder Woman and Aquaman. He did introduce Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, and they're both great in their roles. So, you know, he did a lot for the DCEU. I'm just saying, he deserves a bit more praise. Suicide Squad, bad. To be fair, it was a fun time in the cinema, but it's not a good movie. I do like some parts of it. Deadshot is cool. Harley Quinn is great. Captain Boomerang, Jai Courtney, was brilliant in this. So yeah, that was good. But apart from that, not really a good movie. Birds of Prey, a fun time for me. I don't think it was great, but I think it was enjoyable. I think it was quite a fun movie to watch. The way they advertised it was really weird though, because they advertised it as like this empowerment thing, but like there's nothing really that bad in the movie, like politically or socially. There's nothing really that bad. It's just a fun movie to watch. But the way they advertised it made it sound very different, made it sound like a very, very political movie, but it really wasn't. But it was a fun time, and the fight scenes were the best. The fight scenes were so good in this, well choreographed. I'm pretty sure the guys that did John Wick, one of the guys that did John Wick actually did the fight scenes in this, so that explains why it was so good. But there were some good fight scenes in there. It was pretty fun, and yeah, I just liked it for what it was. I thought it was pretty interesting. Aquaman, I liked it, but I can't call it great. I just think it was a fun time. Better than Birds of Prey though. Aquaman was a good movie, it was a fun time. The visuals were beautiful. This, I think, had the best visuals of any DCEU movie. It looked beautiful. I don't understand why it did not get a nomination at the Oscars for VFX, because this deserved it. It had better VFX than half the nominees. Like, seriously, like how did this not even get nominated? I don't understand. Aquaman deserved at least a nomination for VFX. Like, seriously, it was so beautiful. It looked great, visually so nice, and it was cheesy, to be honest, too many jokes, but it was still a good movie. I liked the villains were great. Orm, and Black Manta. They were both fantastic villains, and I really enjoyed watching them. So yeah, and good theme. The music in it, the score of this movie was great. Like Black Manta's theme, Orm's theme was great. Dun, dun, dun. I like that. I like that sort of like dark theme song. And also the rest of the score as well was just solid. So I like the score of this, but it's a fun time. Like there's a lot of jokes in it. It's a fun ride. It's in a way like an MCU movie that's just, name an MCU movie that's good and fun. I guess Ragnarok maybe. But it's like watching DC's version of an MCU movie basically, and it's actually done really well, and it's got a lot of cheesy jokes and a lot of quips, but it's got a good storyline too. It's good visually, and it just looks beautiful. So I could watch this on Blu-ray every day of the week. Like it's a fun time. Wonder Woman. I can't, sorry about this, had to stop the camera after 10 minutes because of the it goes out of sync. Okay, there we go. Wonder Woman is great. For me, this is the best DCEU movie, except for the Snyder Cut. That is the greatest of all time, of all movies ever. But the Wonder Woman movie is, for me, the best DCEU movie so far. It was so solid, and after Suicide Squad and BVS, they kind of failed, especially this one as well. This one was bad. This one really brought the DCEU back to life. Like, this was an amazing movie, well directed, well acted, visually nice. That No Man's Land scene was beautiful. That scene was amazing, and Gal Gadot really pulled it off. She was fantastic as Wonder Woman. Great, and I'm looking forward to the second one whenever it gets released, probably towards the end of the year or next year maybe. Probably get delayed again because of you know what. But Wonder Woman was so good, man. It was so great. It was brilliant. It was just so brilliant. Shazam! Okay. Interesting. I liked this one. I think it was good. I'm going to put it in the great section. It's not the best DCEU movie. Actually, no, actually. I'm not going to put it in the same... I don't think it's Wonder Woman level. No, wait. My bad. Right, yeah. Row below. There you go. Shazam is a good movie, I think. It's pretty solid. There's a few weird jokes in there, like for a movie that's about kids turning into superheroes, but it's a cool concept. Like, I did like Shazam before this. I got introduced to him in Justice League War, that Justice League animated movie, and Shazam was in there. I was just like, wow, a kid that turns into a superhero just like that. That is a really cool concept. And ever since they announced the movie, I was excited for this one. And when it came along, they pulled it off. It was cool, it was funny, and it was quite interesting as well. Quite a good story as well. So there we go. So Abomination, bad, a fun time, visually beautiful this one, good, underrated, so it would be in good or it would be in B, great, and the greatest movie of all time, the Snyder Cut. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see ya.